Hi everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. Recently someone asked me if I would talk a bit about social capital. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk about social capital in the context of being practical as it applies to business and leadership and inside corporations, or if you have your own business. And I've had my own definition of social capital, but just for the heck of it, I did a little bit of Googling to see what it says out there about social capital. And of course, a simple concept starts becoming too complex. And we don't have the time to deal with complexity. We're moving fast. Let's keep them simple and practical. So here's my, hopefully, simple, practical view of social capital in the context of business and leadership. Social capital, to me, the word I always use is you know who, expanding you know who. Not just you know how, but you know who. Your network of relationships, people that you can call to help guide you, to call this person, to call that person, get some input or advice to help you make a decision, to give you direction, and things like that. So it's really expanding the network of relationships. Many leadership programs in companies, not only do executives or leaders or managers value what they've learned, the know-how, but they always value the know-who. They've met different people from inside the company or maybe even outside the company. So to me, social capital is expanding your know-who, and how critical that is, especially in today's era of the digital era, transformational era, knowledge era, and so forth. Know-who is very, very important. I'll tell you what social capital is not, or what know-who is not. It's not how many friends you have on Facebook or how many connections you have on LinkedIn. Most of them you don't even know. So it's really people that your true relationships that you have in an organization. And you know, I did an IDP once for an individual development plan once for one of our managers, and I was struggling because we're focusing on the know-how. What can this person do to develop further as a manager and a director and for her future development. And what I realized is, wait a minute, let's focus on her know-who. Let's expand her relationships inside the company, and it seems to be working quite well. I'll give you some personal examples of how know-who or social capital worked for me. I had a business for about 10 years. I had a consulting practice, and I did all the marketing that you can imagine. I spent a lot of money marketing. And that had very, very, very little return. But you know what had the greatest return? It was my know-who, my social capital. I ended up getting major contracts because of relationships that I had built over the years. You know, my first big contract was with a major oil company. It was the 5th and final year of a major initiative being driven by the chairman of this company. And previous to me, the previous 4 years, these programs were delivered by different business schools, very, very well-known, reputable business schools. The 5th year came me. And the 4th year, by the way, one of the business schools failed, and they spent the whole year trying to fix it. Then they took a chance on me. And why did they take a chance on me? They took a chance on me because I put together a proposal that brought in the right people, my know-who, my social capital. And we ended up putting together a program for the top 2,500 executives worldwide that the chairman said was the best and most relevant of the 5 years. My know-who. I couldn't do that alone. It was my social capital. The chief learning officer of that company became the chief learning officer of another company. And he had a similar initiative with the top, well, whatever it was, the top 500 or something. Major, well-known, branded insurance company, financial institution. They were getting ready to go public to demutualize after 125 years of being a private mutual company. So he came to me, he says, do you think you can do the same thing? I said, I think so. It came down between me and a very, very well-known, established, reputable, global leadership consulting firm. I got the contract. Why? Not because of me, because of my know-who. I put together a team of people that we put together an incredible design. Here's an interesting story. I had a major client, my biggest client, my most profitable client, and things are going extremely well. This one client alone made me a lot of money And one year, they started cost cutting, and they looked at this program, which was a strategic program, and they're looking at all the line items, and they see me, my consulting fee, and the person who did not know me, it's the only person I hadn't met, one of the middle managers, took me out, said, here's a way we can cut costs, let's take out Mike, we don't need Mike. When the executives that sponsored the program found out that I was being taken out, they overruled and brought me back in. My know-who. And by the way, that also says something else. Know-who has to be built on credibility. It has to be built on your track record of performance, of results, of delivering, whether you're delivering for clients or you're delivering for internal clients or you're delivering inside the company for your organization. So these are just a few personal examples of how my know-who, my social capital, won me major contracts that I could not have gotten if I didn't have that social capital, that know-who, that I was allowed to, that together we put together a winning proposal to win the project against some major institutions. So that's my view on social capital, the significance of it in today's age of knowledge, transformation, and digital and technology. Know-how's good, know-who's critical. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.